Oh, what? What? We had no sound earlier?
No.
I'm sorry, guys. Hi and hello. Welcome to Live from Gallifrey. We're so sorry, guys.
Can you guys hear us in the chat? Let us know. Can you see us?
You guys, can you hear us at all?
Some
Let us know.
timey-wimey, faulty stuff, but I think we are good to go now.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to get the signal, guys. I'm sorry. It's just we're bouncing it off of a satellite, off of the TARDIS, from the TARDIS, all the way down, from Gallifrey to the TARDIS, and from the TARDIS all the way over to you guys. So it's a lot of work to do to make sure that you guys can get the signal, and then it has to come back to us to let us know that you're even getting it. So it works a little hard, but I think we're good, right?
We're good, and we are live from Gallifrey.
That's
we are going to talk about the 4th episode in this series.
Yes.
It's called Spiders in Space.
That's right.
That's not right. It's called Arachnids in the UK.
No, it's called Arachnids in the UK. That's right. Remember in the UK they like to say things like illuminanium.
Yes.
Aluminum.
You know, I used to like
words.
your accents and impressions, but I feel like they are on a downward spiral, my friend.
I think something's wrong with me lately. I don't know if it's alcohol or what, but something's going wrong. Aluminium. That's it.
I mean,
is that it? It's better.
They say schedule differently too. I know that's
schedule.
Thing. Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a thing. See, I'm getting back.
You are. Okay.
All right, fine.
All right. We're getting into
So once again, I am her companion. My name is Daniel, aka Battlestalk Blackska, and to my left is our lovely doctor. Her name is Elle Tea. That's the only name you'll get from her, which isn't actually her name. It's like the doctor. We have to speak a pseudonym or something like that. A surname.
It's true.
Right? Okay, perfect. So we are going to talk about today's episode, which was not Arachnids in Space, but actually Arachnids in the UK.
Which you guys actually have, which is a weird title, because I was like, that doesn't sound exciting. Spiders exist everywhere. But we find out these spiders are massive.
Oh,
massively mutated spiders. I don't like spiders.
Not a fan.
Big
Also,
bug phobia,
in the control booth, we're not getting a picture. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what people are saying. But moving on, continuing on, hopefully they'll bounce that signal back off to us. So with this episode, right off the bat, we start off with, everyone's coming home, right?
Well, actually, the episode started off at the Overlook Hotel. Oh, we have visuals.
That's right.
At the Overlook Hotel,
Mr. Big.
And we have like little Danny Spider crawling through this Overlook Hotel, but also kind of looks like the Inception Hotel, where it's vast and empty. And it was a pretty great, interesting opening.
It got me the Overlook from whatchamacallit?
From The Shining.
From The Shining.
Because we don't have rights at The Shining if you watch
The Shining. You got The Shining. I don't want to get sued. Yeah, so we got The Shining Hotel. And then after that, it did, once again, like you said, also feel kind of like the Inception Hotel.
Yeah.
Where it was just like long, vast, cavernous. Like there's no end to it. But the reason it was that way is because we were looking through the eyes of the spider. That is huge.
And we find that out
why.
after. But it was like a really interesting opening that I
Yeah,
thought. And they always do this kind of like in the middle of something, like you're a voyeur looking into these actions that are already going on. That never has like an actual kind of opening start where it's like, this is the start of the episode.
Yeah, at all. You're just wondering, like, well, what's going on? What are we getting at? And then we see a woman walk into the room after Mr. Big is being told.
Mr. Big, whose name is Jack Robertson.
Yes.
But we're going to call him Mr. Big. If you've ever watched Sex and the City, that's a big thing. But his name is actually Jack Robertson, I believe.
That's a big
in
thing.
the episode. Yeah.
See what you did there. Okay, but yeah, so he's getting told by his first mate or whatever. I don't know what she is. She's a ginger, so she means power. She's all about power, and she tells him right there that, oh, it's too big, blah blah yada yada, etc. And by the dimensions, it just makes sense that and then we get cut off because someone happens to walk in, and that someone, who later we find out, of course, is Yaz's mother.
Yes.
But walks in, and she's like, oh, well, I'm supposed to be the manager here, and I'm going to do this, and blah, blah.
And she's coming in on her day off to make sure that the opening of this grand hotel is going to go off without a hitch.
Exactly.
And we have, I always want to call him Mr. Big. I'm going to just call him Mr. Big. And Mr. Big comes and it's just like, you're fired.
Oh,
and
God.
We're going to jump around because we don't do this in chronological order, but we need to talk about Jack Robertson as a character who is an American in this episode.
Yes.
And it is clear, and he wants to do a presidential candidacy in, 2020, and they mentioned this, and it's like a very political topic, and the way that he is portrayed.
Dude, okay, see, he says he's not, they drop it, he's not a fan of Trump. And
He is
he
not.
wanted to run for president because he hates Trump. Don't mention that name. That's what he says. But the
Yeah.
thing is, so many of your characteristics, people look at you automatically, and I was like, oh, it's a Trump figure. That's what it felt like to me. He has hotels. He runs other things. They mentioned golf courses at one moment.
And he's not necessarily the most savvy businessman. He just wants things done, but maybe not necessarily ethical. And it's saying a lot of
I
stuff.
want things done. I don't know how it's done, but I need to make sure it gets done.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I feel like, yeah, from a business aspect, like I do get that he can't micromanage every little thing that he does. Like he makes these deals and he has other people to actually look into it and find out what is best. So I don't know.
But he's a right proper git. That's what he is. He's a freaking git.
And it's hard to watch it as an American because it is a representation of what we are, and it's such a horrifying,
I didn't think about that.
Thing, and it makes me feel horrible.
It's very big business, which is how the world does see America.
Yeah, we are a capitalist country, and please watch this show because there's going to be spoilers and everything.
Yeah.
But at the end where he has guns and America is known about our gun regulations and that has been an ongoing battle in our country.
Once again, we are cowboys. That's it.
True,
That's
yeah.
exactly what he was.
We are Yanks.
Here he goes. Oh, when wear a hat, ride in the gallop in and just shoot things. Everything will fix itself. And that's exactly what it was. He came in. He rode in just like, oh, I'm gonna be your white cowboy. But ultimately, you don't realize that what you're doing is helping to kill the indigenous people or whatever that may be. Oh, jeez, I didn't even think about that.
Oh man, this is.
Oh my God! Okay, now this episode is a whole lot better. A whole lot better to me now.
I mean, and actually, every episode so far, they do touch on some kind of political, social aspect that is current now, which I really enjoy, and they put it in like. I don't know, in like an interesting way. And like, if you have any feelings on this, please, like, if you're in the chat, you can super chat us so we could read your comments. But even just.
Let us know. I mean, right now we're seeing that the 11 people are watching. I'd love to know exactly who the 11 people are. Go ahead and let us know, hey, what's going on? Chit-chat with us for a bit. But the thing is, it was like you're right. There was so many socio-political kind of hints, nods, just moments, and everything like that. And the thing is, it kind of splits in a way where it's like this guy himself is kind of like more of the monster than the monster was.
I know,
in this
because
episode.
like we find out that the spiders in this episode that are kind of portrayed as the antagonists to everyone else, they're just normal spiders that have gotten mutated through toxic things that have been going on in lab experiments.
All connected right back to him.
Yeah,
he
and
owned
he
a company called with RFC or.
I can't remember. He has a bunch of hotels.
A bunch of hotels and a bunch of companies as well. And one of them is a kind of a bio-waste kind of disposal company. And so they end up throwing away toxic waste and the carcasses of spiders that have been tested on in a lab. And where do they throw them away? In a giant landfill. This giant landfill later ends up being built on top of, a hotel ends up being built on top of it. And because of that, we get these giant spiders.
And see, that's another thing that, like, not only this kind of social political aspect of it, but also an environmental message of what are you dumping? How can you correctly, like, you can't just put stuff in mines and make that a landfill and say that everything is okay without checking what is being disposed of and how it's going to affect the environment.
Exactly.
So I feel like this episode, even though on the surface we're talking about, like, this seems to be one of the weakest episodes of the 4 so far, but this one actually has a lot of stuff written into it.
A lot. And for me, what was very interesting when it came to us thinking about it was the moments where we got hints or nuggets of it. And it does kind of remind me with Doctor Who, which has this message again, when we talk about the bees. Every time Doctor Who, when you start to think about it, there's episodes where they reference, well, the bees are gone, the bees are gone, the bees are gone. And you realize, like, oh my God, even currently right now, we're having a problem where all our bees are gone, like, essentially, and it's because of all the things that we're doing to the environment. And that's what they address here. Specifically, they address it when they're like, all right, all the toxic waste is being just kind of disposed of, like you said, in mines and everything like that. And we have that shot where the Doctor sees it. And it's a giant landfill.
And the thing is, it kind of relates back of, like, how can you she kind of reprimands, Mr. Big's character. And it's like, how can you let this happen? And I do feel like there were a couple moments when I think to myself of, like, am I doing what's right for the environment. If I saw and I was like, hey, when I see trash on the ground, I generally do try to pick it up, but every once in a while I'll walk by like a huge mess and I won't pick it up. I'll be like, that's not my problem. I didn't make it. And I feel like that's how this character is kind of dismissing it, of like, I didn't make this deal. I didn't know about the specifics. And it's like, but does that excuse you? And it kind of puts that pressure on the
Back
audience
on
members
us.
too, which
It
is like what I
does.
love about the writing of this is like, it's pretty deep when you start to think about it.
What it's hitting us with is the fact that, hey, there's a community. And as a community, you have to worry about everything that's happening. Yes, am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am when my brother is living on the same rock I'm living on. And if he chooses to destroy something, how's that going to affect me? How's it going to affect my kids and other people? We're in a community. And that's what Doctor Who is always something that's a big concern. You're worried about the community. You're worried about what's happening. Oh, ours was not working.
Oh.
You're worried about the community. You're worried about what's happening. Oh my
we can
God.
see you guys in the chat. There's
Thank
actually
God.
a lot of stuff in this chat.
Dear
Hey
God,
guys.
we had no idea. We were looking at it and we saw nothing. I might watch bits of the new episode of the CW Supergirl. Well, that's interesting because we're not talking about Supergirl. So, moving on. Elle, you're looking great tonight.
Thank you.
That is true. Oh,
I am a little bit fancier
yeah,
today.
tell us why you're fancy.
I just came from my cousin's baby shower, and that's why I'm dressed up a little bit nicer than I normally
Aw,
am.
that's
Trying
nice.
to not be a slob, but
Hey,
every once in a while.
that's great. That's great. Apparently, I look like trash. But so moving on, Donnie Pearson says, for me, this week's new episode of Doctor Who begins.
Do
in
not
a
watch
half
this.
hour's
You need to
time.
watch the actual
Oh my
episode
God.
first.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. Don't spoil it for yourself because you're gonna be upset. So kind of come back to us and tune in. You'll be a little bit delayed, but trust me, you'll be happy for it. Rewatches are still watches, and we appreciate them. It's
This
like
one
DVR
isn't like a
watches.
big spoilery episode in my opinion, but it does
Yeah.
hit on a lot of topics that are relevant, in this day and
man.
age, which I thought was kind of cool. And then Ford Jr. is here again. He's
Oh
like,
yeah, hey.
he's the one that has all our Doctor Who information. Every time we don't know
does, he
something,
does.
he's the one that.
Ryan and Graham said in the kitchen. Hey, remember what Ryan and Graham said in the kitchen?
I actually don't.
What did they say in the kitchen? I remember there was a few things. They talked about the letter.
That was a
and
big
the
thing that I do kind of want to touch on, because for the first time, Ryan gets this letter from his father, who has been absent. We don't know what happens to him. We know
Right.
that his mother has passed away and that he's been living with his nan.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he's living. Is he actually living with them, or does he have his own place and he meets up with Nan and
I
Graham?
think he's been living with them and Graham.
Okay.
I think so. I think that's pretty much it. Because I think she came to kind of be his caregiver. So she's taking care of him. And while we're dealing with that fact, he's still unhappy with the fact that, she has someone else besides his grandfather. But this is the moment where it's starting to be, where he's cracking that surface.
Yeah.
Because while they're walking, and he says that part about proper family. And he was like,
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
He
let's go
doesn't
into
have
Let's go
that
into it.
right to say we have a proper
proper
family when
family?
you've been absent, but we don't actually know the reason. So I think
We
that would
don't.
be super interesting to find out. We kind of have this prejudice towards his father because we don't know him and we only see things from Ryan's point of view right now.
True.
That I would be interested to know what is in the rest of that letter.
Yeah, I do want to know what's in the rest of the letter. I do want to know what happened as far as why mom dies and you choose to go live over there instead of living with dad. I wanted to know why dad stayed far away for so long before he actually got connected with you again, or says that now it's suitable for me to rebuild this relationship.
Because your grandmother has
Because your
passed
grandmother has
and-
passed, and essentially I don't want you living with this guy. I want you here with me. It becomes this level of possession in a way that it's like, do you have the right to say so? And that's why I like where he pointed it out too, where he was like, I don't like that he put that whole thing about proper family.
Yeah.
What do you, like you said, it goes right back to it. What do you know about a proper family?
And Graham has been there, and I feel like this is going to be a pivotal character relationship. Like, I'll talk about relationships of other characters in this because that's a big thing in this episode. But Ryan and Graham's relationship, and Ryan accepting Graham for who he is, that wants to protect him, who wants to be his grandfather and kind
Yes.
of maybe fill that role and not necessarily step on anyone else's spot, but has that kind of, caring, I don't know, like attachment that you can only have between family members. And like in the last episode of Rosa, he's like, this is my grandson, this is my grandson. And we're just waiting for Ryan to kind of catch up to that mentality.
See, and this is the thing I say about family. My thing has always been this way. Like I say that about like the whole idea of there's the name of father, which is biological, and then there's the emotional kind of connection
Daddy.
name of daddy.
Yeah.
Daddy or dad is someone you earn that name. Father is something you're given because biological. You earn the name of dad or daddy because that's when that person looks up to you and says, I love you because you love me, and there is a connection that will never be broken, and that's why you're dad. That's why you're daddy. That's why you get that kind of name. You know, papa, whatever it may be. But father is something that you just get to get. And it doesn't mean a thing. Because the thing is, you have to stand there, you have to actually put in the work, you have to be there, you have to show the love. That's when you become the dad, the daddy, the papa, whatever it is. And that's what Graham is doing. Graham is there while his own father is out there doing Lord knows what. And that's how I kind of feel about his dad right now. And maybe that may be kind of personal for me. That's how I feel about him, because my dad was there. I'm a dad and I'm here. You know, yeah. But his dad isn't, and it's just like, well, then you're a piece of trash. I don't care what your excuse is. You should have been there. So that's why I kind of get upset with it, you know? And that's how I feel like I love Graham so much. And now, I do have to point out to one other thing that I did notice in there. For Junior was talking about when he said earlier about the whole, what they said in the kitchen, which is Russians making these spiders to kill, what's his name?
Yeah.
Another Trump hit.
And it's interesting, and I'm kind of curious, how do you guys feel about this? I am not very educated on a lot of political matters, so I don't want to sound ignorant and say things that, you know, because I'm just not educated on it. Like, I don't know enough. So if you have any opinions on this, I would be, like, super interested to hear what you guys have to say. Because, like, for me, it does kind of reflect on, like, man, America is in a situation, and we don't necessarily hear how other countries perceive us.
Yeah.
But when I do talk to some friends, they're like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they know what's going on. Other countries look at this, and they're kind of in a shock and awe, which...
It does suck that they know a whole lot more than we do, because we're like, we're living in it, we're embroiled in it. It's like, I don't... Well, you have to think about it, though. You're embroiled in it every day. After a while, you're just like, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to live right now. I just want to live. While they're like, oh, well, we're living, and my God, it's horrible over there for you guys.
Yeah.
That's what they get to see.
Sympathy.
So, yeah, it's a sympathy that goes on and makes them want to pay attention and learn more. But,
we also have Ryan, Infinity Wizard Thomas, saying, like, okay, so if you saw a big spider, do you run for your life or do you kill it?
Ooh, run for my life. Immediately.
See, I cannot run because I need to know where it is. I'm one of those where, like,
well, I
spiders,
saw it. I just saw it. It's right there.
But if it's in my room, I cannot let it escape. Like, I'm not going... Okay, so... No, this is a story that I'm not going to tell. But, like, it was traumatizing. Like, it's a long story. But anyway, in my closet, there was, like, I thought it was a cotton ball. And I thought it was, like, stuck in my closet. And I went to scrape it off, and a gajillion baby spiders came out. And they were all in my clothes, and I didn't know what to do. And I was just, like, having a freak out. Burn it! I had burned down my house. Yeah, but anyway, that's besides the point. So, like, I do like spiders. In the sense that they kill other bugs, and they don't really bug you, but I don't want it in my room. I don't want it in my house. I would try to capture it and take it outside. I also don't like killing things. So I am like the doctor in that way. Like, I hate bugs with a passion, and aside from, like, roaches that multiply like crazy, I don't want to kill anything. Like, I don't ever think that killing something should be the end goal or, like, something that you do. It does...
Okay.
I don't know. It gives me weird feelings. I don't know how to express it, but I don't like... killing things. I don't like seeing dead things.
And that's, I think, why we made sure you are the doctor on here. Because the doctor felt the same way. The doctor felt the same way when she saw this giant spider.
And it was suffocating at the end of the episode, and it was going to die anyway. And that's a topic that we were having a discussion about earlier.
Yes.
Of, at this end, the spider is dying and it's suffering, and they say this, and Robertson or whatever comes with his gun and shoots it.
Yeah.
And it does show that, like, okay, is that the right way to do it? Because they want to do natural deaths, but is putting something maybe out of its misery the right thing to do? And if you watch this episode, where do you stand, especially on this particular scene? Because we don't really know how to...
And I love that because it brings back, like we said, lately we've been doing on the episodes where we say, this is what the doctor would do. What would you do as a doctor?
If you had a choice,
you have to do, like we said, Sophie's Choice, and we called it the doctor's choice. This is the episode moment where it's, here's the doctor's choice. We can have a rainbow to go, the doctor's choice. This is it right now.
And
what
she
would you
didn't
do?
want to kill it. And the thing is, I was a little confused in this episode as well. They lure all these mutated spiders into the safe room, and they're going to lock them in to die a natural death. So does that mean they just cannibalize each other, or they just die together in this room? And, like, I don't know if that's necessarily the right choice either. Like, I don't believe in killing, but at the same time, like, if something is suffering, to put it out of its misery, even though I don't know if I would be able to do it, I would understand if someone wanted to or if they asked to be put out of their suffering.
It's
you know?
like, if the spider's like, kill me.
Yeah.
Do I do it? Or do I just kind of like, you'll be fine. You're going to die soon on your own.
Or it's like, I can't do that for you. You know? And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't know. If like a loved one had asked me that, like, because kind of on the topic of euthanasia, I don't want to get too dark.
Yeah, true.
But if someone is terminally ill and there is no recovery and they ask for it, do you do that? And like, I got those kind of vibes from the ending, or like the spider ending of this episode.
And that's the question that Elle did pose to you guys. And this is something that we definitely want to know from you guys. What would you do? Would you guys allow the spiders into the safe room to die on their own? Or would you think like Mr. Big and just say, well, let's just kill them all? And that will be it. And then with the giant spider that's suffocating, would you shoot it? Would you kill it? Or would you just let it sit there and suffocate and die?
What would
That's
you
the question.
do?
Well, for me, it's kind of like, all right, it's kill or be killed.
Yeah.
Honestly, and with that, all these well-to-do spiders that were going around, they were going to kill me. No, lock them in a room, let them suffocate and die, or let them eat each other. I don't care, because you were here to try to kill me. I'm sorry, I am not the doctor.
And the thing is, they weren't like sentient. Like an alien race.
Aren't.
They were regular spiders. And like, I don't know if that makes a difference, but it is instinct versus like malicious.
Nature versus nurture.
Yeah. And it is one of those things where it's like, and I think that's how they decided to end it. But it was very different for Doctor Who, that it wasn't an alien monster, and like the big bad is kind of.
Yeah, well, I love the fact that this is the kind of a discussion that comes up where it's like, and here we are, guys, right on air, we're discussing this. We have different points of view. Because Elle, you're saying that essentially, okay, you wouldn't kill them, but what would you do then?
See, I don't know. Like, would I let them suffocate? Because I don't believe in killing things. But also, a part of me is like, put them out of their misery. Like, I don't like watching things suffer more than watching things die.
Right.
So it is one of those where I didn't know how to feel about this. I don't know if the doctor made the right decision or came up with the right conclusion to handle this in this particular situation, which is weird because I usually do always side with the doctor.
So then let me help you as far as this way. Let's break it down into two things. Giant spider suffocating. You say, okay, allow it to suffocate. I don't have to kill it. It's going to die in about 5 minutes.
But I want to put it out of its misery. So I kind of almost side with, Robertson,
with
on this.
Just shooting it. But Robertson did it more out of fear, and he said, this is fiery justice and blah, blah. It was more about him.
And it was
once
hate,
again
and
that American cowboy coming in, showing up in Europe, shooting his gun, because that answers everything.
Yeah,
right?
And that's not really the way to do it, but I do feel like intent is kind of a big thing, but the situation ends up the same, and I don't know how to speak intelligently on these matters.
No, it's fine,
but
it's fine. You're doing
that's why we want to have a
perfectly fine.
discussion, because I want to hear what you guys have to say
Well,
on this, because it's a hard topic.
For me, honestly, like I said, the kill or be killed, I would actually still kill that the giant spider. I'd let it suffocate. I felt like it was gonna die. It was gonna die in just a few minutes, and it was not concerned about me. It was concerned about getting out to try to get air. It was going to die. I would allow that one to die.
But the
now,
room of
all
spiders.
the other ones, the room of spiders, if I did not lock them in that safe room and die, if I had let them out to be free, they would have scampered down the sewers. They would have gotten out. They would have gone further in the UK, and a lot of other people would have died, just like that girl's roommate, who was unfortunately an innocent victim who happened to die.
Okay, they weren't dead though because the spiders didn't eat them.
No,
they were
but
just
they suffocated them. Remember, that's what because Ryan said, "Oh yeah, like he suffocated your mate in the room in your flat, your flatmate in the room." You know, however he said it, I don't know.
Okay, like kind of going from this dark topic, since we're talking kind of about Ryan, I want to go back to Ryan and Graham, and I thought it was a great moment how they lured the spiders into the room. Oh wait, what do we got?
Well, all right. I would let the spider live and set them free, says Ryan. So Ryan, you let the spiders live, set free, and then go around the UK, eating dogs, cats, and children.
Like,
that's what you're allowing.
Big puppy, like, oh man.
Yeah, because they run on instinct, like we said, so it's not, you can't reason with it.
And those mutated spiders are going to breed more mutated spiders. I don't know if we can let that into the ecosystem. I don't know if that's introducing a new, like, predator species.
Yes, I don't know how that would work out.
I don't know if I agree with that, but I kind of do like that. Like, ideally, I would love to do that, though.
Exactly, right. Now, on this one, it goes big spider equals mercy killing spiders. smaller
takes him to a
spiders.
different planet or a different time
Doctor
and era.
takes him to a different
Oh,
planet
I
or time
love
era.
that. That is a really good way to get around. Like either we're kind of thinking of kill them or kind of let them go free.
Right.
But I really do like that. That is an outside the box kind of thinking.
Yeah.
So for
But
Junior, I gotta
the
say
thing
like
is,
that's my favorite.
That's
so
a
far.
good one. That's a good one. But it's like what planet, where, and how are you gonna?
She
how are
has
you gonna
all
get
time
them
and
all-
space. She knows one of them.
How do you do it though? You have to make that room into a room that you can actually kind of. The TARDIS would figure a way.
Yeah.
The TARDIS would be able to create a kind of a dispersed field that would be able to make the whole room be able to pop and then pop somewhere else. Just like she was able to make all of them pop away by just using the car batteries and the sonic to make them pop into space.
Yeah.
She can do that for that room and make them pop to another planet because now she'll have more power connected to the TARDIS.
Yeah.
That's true. So that may have been the best answer, and I think that's actually the answer of the night. But I do see Morbid Encounters did say something that was kind of interesting. I don't think we actually got to see what the humane option was. Seeing how Jack Robertson charged into the moment, cutting off the conversation.
Yeah, that is like, it wasn't a resolved thing. They just said, like, let them die naturally. But we just assumed that they were going to cannibalize each other in that small room, which is not really a natural death. That's kind of like a forced on, like, we don't want to deal with it. But that is a good point. They didn't ever really specify, which is why I think we also have a lot of questions and why we can't really feel at ease with necessarily that part of the episode.
Right, exactly. That's the thing. And Morbid Encounter goes on to say, I wonder, was the mama pregnant when disposed of? That's a good question, but I don't think so. I think she's already laid her eggs. That's where all the other ones are coming from. Or was that after? No, I think it was before, because that means we didn't account for Papa. Now, usually when it comes to spiders anyway, the male spider, they have, they're just like snakes. It's sexual dysmorphia. The female usually happens to be the larger one, and the male happens to always be the smaller one. And sometimes that's the reason for, if they happen to be a predator species of spiders, is because after it's done, the female eats the male. It's just
Animal
like the praying
Planet.
mantis. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's where I learned it from. It's just like that, and I also learned that on Arachnophobia. Oh my God, I hated that movie, but I loved watching it every time it was on. I would freak myself out. I was like, oh, but I'd sit there and watch it the whole time because I was afraid to even turn the channel. I thought a spider would come and get me. I was so
man.
stupid as a kid. So stupid as a kid.
And who's Nick? Yes, we are based in LA. We're actually in Manhattan Beach at the Comic Book.
That's
It's
right.
a great comic book store.
It's
if
a
you
great
ever
comic
wanna
book store.
come
That's
and
right.
check
If
it
you're
out.
ever looking to go ahead and read some comics, catch up on some stuff, you happen to be in LA, come down to the comic book shop right here in Manhattan Beach, because the Comic Bug is the place to be. There's
amazing.
any and everything you can think of when it comes to comics, and if they don't have it, they'll be fine. They'll be kind enough to order it for you, call you when it comes in, and give it to you. I don't know how many comic shops are still looking to do that nowadays. A lot of them are like, that's too bad, you just don't have it. So, I don't know. I love the bug. But moving on, the bug.
Speaking of bugs, yeah,
there you
we are
go.
at the Comic Bug. We have a bunch of spiders in here.
Right?
But like the other interesting thing, kind of, we're talking about relationships, like between.
I was gonna say that actually. Dropping them off on a new planet, she'd have to consider how that would impact the ecosystem. There has to be a planet somewhere in some level of dimension or something that already has giant spiders, but the problem is those giant spiders are Earth giant spiders
Versus alien
giant
giant
spiders, and we don't know how that will work out, and if we'd send them all to end up dying. So, I don't know. It's a question, and it is a point. You got a point.
It is like lionfish in Florida. killing
Oh,
all
God,
the- yeah.
that's right. How did that happen? They're just flying fish. I didn't know they were that dangerous.
But we digress.
We
Going
digress.
back to Doctor Who.
Back to Doctor Who. So, out of this episode, what was your least favorite moment and your most favorite moment?
Okay, I'm trying to think. The least was like, because it wasn't resolved, like I don't necessarily like that or how they were gonna fix it. But I do love the end of this episode where the companions are coming together, and it's kind of like we already had that incident where the Doctor's just kind of, yeah, I guess I'll go on my own since you're back on your time.
That whole kick rock and drag her, put your
Yeah,
foot, dig your
and
heel
Yaz
in.
is like, you want to come for tea? She's like, I love tea. I'm gonna come in. But finally, so we can tell that she's lonely, that she wants to be with them. But at the end of the episode, the companions come together and decide on their own that yes, we want to have these adventures with you if you would have us. And I thought
so great.
them coming together on their own terms and deciding that they are a good fit, that warms my heart.
It did. It changed everything for me because it was great to see, once again, the Doctor giving you an option. and putting his hand out
and she
putting her hand up
tells
and
them,
says,
this is dangerous. I cannot promise to protect you. I cannot.
Yep.
And if you are a Doctor Who fan and you know what happens to a lot of the companions, they don't have great endings, but they have the most amazing adventures. And this is what I kind of thought it was a little cheap that she didn't necessarily tell them how, like, you know, they're trapped in a different dimension or they lost all of their memories or like all this crazy stuff has happened. But they still, despite everything, went with the Doctor. And you knowing how all the other companions ended up and what their stories were, would you go with the Doctor?
Yes, because there's a chance, there's 1 out of 3 chance that I would be the one that still lives while other people die. And I would be like, if I'm the younger one, it looks like I may be living while the old guy's gonna die. So, Graham, let's roll. Because I need you to be there to wait, level out my chances. That's what I would say. Daniel 316 says, I'm not gonna die as long as there's someone older than me there. That's what Daniel 316 says.
And for you guys in the chat, would you guys go with the Doctor? Like, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens.
Oh, really?
But
I didn't know that. It's Matt Smith's birthday today.
is it really?
Look at that.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
Happy birthday, Matt Smith. You are my Doctor.
Oh, yes, that's
He is
true.
my
That's
Doctor.
true. I mean, I didn't really jump into Doctor Who the full way I would have jumped into Doctor Who if it wasn't for Matt Smith. And remember, let's kill Hitler. That was me. I fell in love with it because we introduced the River Song on that episode. We got all that. And for me, I was a big X-Men fan, and I loved Cable at that time. River Song is Doctor Who's Cable. She's pretty much the product of what you would call our Cyclops and our Jean Grey, which is Rory and Amy, and they have a child, and their child is a badass, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. That's what River Song is. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting that X-Men equivalent right there, and it's all due to Matt Smith, so thank you. Oh my God. Oh, I loved it. Everything about it was great. Now, this is also something that's really interesting because the tweets are going crazy right now, and people did say that. Yasmin Khan, a known bisexual. So that moment when they did say the whole thing about, oh, are you two dating?
Yeah, we're like, is that... and the Doctor's like, wait, I don't know.
Are we dating? I love that.
Oh my God,
That's how she addressed everything. It was like, are we dating? And she was like, no. But that was like, okay, cool.
But then also with Ryan, where she's like, hey, are you guys a thing? Which I think is really cool. And it's a throwaway. And even in the beginning of the episode talking about sexuality, where it's like, oh, the niece's wife who is working for Mr. Big. And I thought it's very nonchalant. They don't put a lot into it. But I do feel like any kind of representation is always important and always appreciated.
I thought so. I thought it wasn't bad. And a lot of people are complaining about the whole Trump ripoff and how it's hitting them over the head with a hammer of exposition.
But
and how
also
I hated
it's
the Trump.
So I don't know.
That's
Like,
the thing.
if it became every single episode becomes really didactic and preachy, like I don't know if I would appreciate it as much. But to hit on like relevant issues and current issues, I think I'm okay with it. Like, and Doctor Who is this kind of like way to talk about these issues in a non-threatening environment and for ways to like access it, and it's just a little bit removed where I didn't really feel personally attacked. I just thought it was a relevant topic.
Truth is, I'm going to say this, and I know this is where it's going to be a whole lot of heat and people are going to start to hate me for it, but I feel that the same people that hated the fact that even the Doctor went to being a woman, the people that said, oh my God, I see your stupid agenda and I hate it, and the people that are still saying the agenda's playing out and that's why I'm not a fan of Doctor Who, are the same people that are complaining every time anything happens on the show. Anything happens on the show, they're like, oh God, here goes the Trump thing. Oh God, here goes the, oh God. I'm like, dude, if you're not happy with the show, then you don't stop watching it because there are a whole lot of other people that are. So maybe sometimes you need to calm down and just stop complaining about stuff. God, dude, it's like you get something new, and the first thing you do, you have to complain about it. If you want everything to be the same, go ahead and watch old episodes. That's my opinion. And now people are going to hate me for it, and fine if you do, hate me and change the channel too. Because the thing is, there are a lot of people here that are enjoying the show because the show is actually good. So stop with your closed mind and take a moment. Now, there are people that hate the show because it's like, with what they tried to do as far as the agenda, their writing was poor. I get that. When someone tells me that, because we have a producer here that was like, no, that's not the reason I don't like it. The reason I don't like it is because they took forever to do it. This is what their agenda was. I got it. But the thing is, on top of that, I feel the writing has decreased. I feel it's poor. I feel you've given me a legitimate answer. And that's what I like about that. So that's the thing I do enjoy versus everyone else who just closed-minded and just said they don't like it because. And it's like not even a real because.
Yeah.
That's when I'm like, go away.
And that's why we like the chat. If we can engage you in the chat and you have reasons to back it up or to like, if you want to fight us, I am down. I'm like open-minded, and like if you are more conservative and you don't necessarily like this, I would be interested to hear your opinions too, because I'm not gonna shoot you down just because liberal versus conservative views or your views on presidency. But I mean, it's a good place, and I feel like this show opens up a lot of dialogue that is relevant to us. And yes, it's a fun show, but these are things that we need to talk about. And I feel like every week, so far, we've had something to say about either some kind of social aspect, political aspect. This one introduces like some kind of ecological aspect of like bringing it to the forefront of your awareness in a really fun, engaging manner. And I can't wait to see what's going to happen next week.
Last week we had it concerning, race relations is the best way to say it.
Yeah.
And just, if you had the chance to make the change, would you make the change knowing that due to this one person's suffering and their sacrifice, you are being able to push forward a dialogue and an agenda for a whole race of people later? Would you be able to stop it? That was the whole question. And it was like, dang, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Would I? After I get to know this person, befriend this person, would I? And then now we get to it here where it's like, okay, would you kill this spider knowing that if you do, you're saving everyone else, and you're supposed to be like, well, life is precious. Is one life more precious than the other? Blah, blah, blah. I know we've had those questions before, but yet no one said Doctor Who was preachy when we had pretty much the aliens, like the moon, that pretty much kill the moon, that episode. No one said, oh, it's preachy then, but now it's preachy.
But that's the thing. I mean, we have these discussions, and they're interesting, and I love this show for that reason, that it's not just, mindless TV. It has these aspects to it that we love to discuss, and that's why we're here every week. And in the future, I hope there are more things. I don't want it to be, hit over the head maybe as overtly as it has been.
Very true.
But I do enjoy this, and I can't wait to see what the next episode is going to be about. We never watch the trailers or the preview for the next episode. We always come in watching blind, and we watch it right before we do these shows.
Exactly.
So, it's kind of fun, and I hope that next week, if you can join us on another Doctor Who, we'd love to hear your insights, opinions, what you like and don't like, and everything else.
Yeah, I do like that. I got one more comment, and then after that, I think we're going to kind of wrap it up because we're going to cover everything. Morbid Encounters says, have you noticed that the themes that are running between all the episodes is the villain believing and acting as though other races or species are lesser than theirs? I will say to an extent, but we didn't get that on this episode.
Yeah.
But there has been a theme for the other ones. Yes, I definitely do agree with you. That was kind of like a theme at the beginning, but not so at the end. Not for this one. It was the spiders living as spiders, and that was about it. So with that being the case, I think we've covered everything concerning this episode, and we've delved deep.
And goes. Like, we missed a little bit about. I love the characterizations of some of these, like Ryan making the little shadow dogs. We get a little bit more of Yaz. We get to see her family dynamic. We get to see more Tim and Graham. And I thought, I love how they touched on these things within this. So.
Oh yeah. Definitely. It was probably like one of the best parts of it. Like the whole thing with the family and the connection with Graham and the dad. And then I love how they had little spots of talking of pop culture and everything for this episode with the music and everything like that, and how they related it and how they put it together.
The music was awesome. And speaking of pop culture, if you like pop culture t-shirts,
that was it. You saw what I was doing. Oh, I love it.
Head over to the T Public store where you can get your geek pop culture t-shirts.
That's right. Right over there at T Public. The link is in the description below, and there's a connection for so many things there. If you're down with anything concerning what Elle usually has to say, you can get the Teabaggers t-shirts right there. You can get Battlestar Galactica there. You can also get the hashtag show shirts. And funny enough, we happen to have a Darth Vader shirt where it says, I find the lack of your selfies disturbing, which is great because following up with us right on Facebook, you'll be able to connect with our Star Wars show that's coming up right after us here. So with that, I think we want to say goodbye. Thank you guys. Elle?
Yeah, I am on Instagram and Facebook as Elle Tea.
That's right, and I'm Battlestar Galactica on Instagram because I don't care about any other social media. So, with that being the case, once again, thank you guys for watching us. This is live from Gallifrey, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with everything trending
in geek pop culture.
Good night, guys.
Change your Instagram handle.